Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? Happy Friday. Y'all, we are almost at the end of July. Like next week, next Friday is August the 1st. The year is going. It is going, and will soon, before we even realize it, be gone. So, welcome everyone to our Profitable and Productive Fridays. I am Nichica Melton, your simplified productivity coach. What that means is I work with high achieving professionals and entrepreneurs just like you to help you transform chaos into clarity, unlock more profits, more peace, more productivity, reclaim the balance in your life, and kill the overwhelm. Yes, in 90 days or less, honey. That's what we're doing. So if you are in the Facebook group, if you are watching on YouTube, let me know where you are chiming in from. If you see me looking down, I am checking the Facebook comments. Hey, Ernie. Hello, Miss Bold and Bodacious, honey. Yay, what's going on, Ernie Peppers, the official BPCMC? Yes. Glad you are joining us. Happy Friday. So, everybody, regardless of what you're watching on, chime in and let me know. I can see the comments both on YouTube and in the Facebook group, and we are going to get rocking and rolling. If you have any questions at all, even if it's not related to exactly what I'm going over, but you have some productivity questions, some organizational questions, anything related to that, how to prioritization questions, throw them in. Hello, Dr. Maeva from Philly. I remember she's an Eagles fan. Yes, I have not forgotten. I'm not anybody's fan, child, but hello, Dr. Maeva. Glad you are joining us. So, what I'm going to do, and this is how I start off every session, because I want to keep this as a reminder of what productivity actually is, because people confuse busyness with productivity. Productivity is the act, not the thought, the act of focusing on and completing the tasks that need to be completed in order to accomplish the established goals that will lead you to success. In a nutshell, it's you doing what you need to do in order to get to the place of success, the level of success that you say you want. Need being the operative word there, because all of us can attest that there are many tasks that we don't want to do, but baby, we have to do it. So it's what you need to do. Hello? Okay? It's what we need to do. And listen, y'all, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try something new. Cause y'all, Coach Taria be inspiring me with the sounds, and I can get so caught up in talking, I don't remember to do them. So I'm going to give everybody a round of applause for showing up on today. Let me see if I can do it. Hold on. is another item, the SMART goals. Now, I know many people know in theory what the SMART goal system is. What I also know is that number drastically decreases when I ask how many people actually walk in that system. Okay? So we want our goals to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Can I give this a nutshell? Absolutely, I can. Thank you. You, in defining success for yourself, you're also taking into account what your real life situation is right now. And that's where this SMART goal system comes into play. Because you can have all the goals in the world, but they may not fit with what you're dealing with right now, whether it's financial, whether it's the amount of time that you have, because regardless of what day you go to, whether it's Monday or Sunday, there are 24 hours in every one of them days, no more, no less. So we have to look at realistically what you have going on. And there are many entrepreneurs that also have a job, whether it's a full-time or a part-time job. And what we are not going to do is teach you anything that's going to cause you, let me bring the screen back to me, that's going to cause you to get fired from your job. Okay? That's not what we're here for. And I will never tell you to leave your job, because I don't know what your financial situation is. I don't know what your disciplines are. But what I am here to teach you are some strategies that will help you go forward, help you create the disciplines that you should have, as well as break the bad habits that should not be there. Okay? So, again, whatever your questions are, when you see me look down, again, I am checking the Facebook comments because I want to get all questions answered. Again, even if it's not 100% what I'm talking about, when you think about your week and what you had going on, were you working hard or were you working smart? My goal is to teach you how to work smart. So if you were on in our last session, which was July the 11th, because we connect every second and fourth Friday, we were talking about our hypothetical person who had come to me and said they wanted to lose weight. That was their big goal for their personal life. I do is I help you create that balance. So we look at personal and we look at business, because where there is toxicity in one area, it creeps into all areas. And so what I had shared was my question to this hypothetical client. Let me give her a name, because saying hypothetical client takes 30 more seconds than what I want to deal with. We're going to call her Jamie. Okay, and I'm writing it down so I don't forget what name I gave her. So Jamie, I'm saying, Jamie, have you been to your doctor and gotten a physical? And we know that Jamie said no. Why did I ask Jamie that? Because I'm not going to tell Jamie to start a workout regimen, and Jamie doesn't know what her health is. She doesn't know what her numbers are. She knows she's got aches and pains in her joints and sometimes in her muscles. So what Jamie is not going to do is come back and say, you told me to do this and now I'm got my leg in a boot or something of that nature. Jamie not going to do that. Not to me. And so as a coach, I'm able to ask the questions that maybe somebody else would not have thought of asking. So Jamie had the task of going and setting a appointment for a complete physical. And that was the wording that I told Jamie to use, because you have physicals, you have sports physicals, and you have complete physicals. And she needs a complete physical. They're going to check her from the rooter to the tutor, okay? And everything in between. Jamie was also told to do a food diary. And the reason that Jamie was told to do that is because sometimes what appears to be weight gain is actually an allergic reaction. Your body is saying, I don't like this food. So it may start retaining water. You may get bloated. All these different things start happening because you either have an allergy or an aversion, which is not a full-blown allergy, but your body is still saying, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. So those are the things that Jamie was told to do. And she was also told that when she goes to her appointment, while she's sitting in the waiting area, instead of scrolling social media, what Jamie is going to do is send out her DMs, okay? Because we're maximizing our time. And before she goes to the doctor, she's going to fill out her paperwork. So that's one less thing she's got to do when she gets there. So what I had said we would talk about today, yes, from the rooter to the tutor, Hannah, absolutely. What I said we would fill in today is the rest of what Jamie has going on. Because Jamie works. Jamie has a job, okay? She is not a full-time entrepreneur. So Jamie knows that she has to coordinate these things in between her job. So what we're going to type in, because Jamie has let me know some of the things that she has to do. And so as Jamie is listing off what she's got to do, because we know she's got a job, and we know that her job is a full-time job. So she's 9 to 5, although she does have some flexibility. Okay? She's got some flexibility. So my conversation with Jamie is, number one, are you at a job where you're the only one in the office? Are you being micromanaged? Are you able to work on things at your job? Jamie lets me know she's able to do some admin items on her job, but she can't take phone calls or really have her phone out unless she's on break or on lunch. But her laptop or her computer at work, she is able to do some things. So my conversation with Jamie is, we don't want to get you fired, sweetie. Even though I know your boss is laid back, we want to make sure we are abiding by all of the rules. So we know that when she called and made this appointment for her physical, she did that on her break. She is keeping her food diary. But what we have to keep in mind is from 9 to 5, Jamie is at her job. She has a 1 hour lunch. Now, some folk will say, well, Jamie, during your lunch, you need to be doing A, B, C, D for your job. I'm pausing because I want y'all to think about that. And I know a lot of people who do that. But the question becomes, where is your break? Where is your decompression? Where do you get to reset? So we have to be particular about the tasks that are being done during the lunch. Now, during the 15-minute break, Jamie is going to use the bathroom, coming back to her desk, and she's checking her emails really quick. Okay? She's responding to text messages really quick. But I'm not going to advise Jamie to utilize her lunch period, because Jamie has also shared that sometimes her job gets a little bit stressful. And she does a lot of snacking during that 9 to 5 period, which has lent to the weight gain that she has experienced. So Jamie, excuse me, Jamie is experiencing, without knowing, self-soothing behaviors. That's what she's dealing with, self-soothing behaviors, which is why I'm also having her keep a food diary. So my suggestion to Jamie is every day during, let me see what this is doing right here. Hold on. We want to text. Here we go. It's not wanting to obey. Hold on, y'all. What I'm going to tell her is during her breaks that she can check her text messages and emails. During her breaks. She gets 2 15-minute breaks. Let's see if that'll come up. Good. And this will be every single day. During her lunch, I'm going to tell her that for about 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to focus on responding to or creating the DMs. That's something that is simple, and it also gives her some relief, because when she gets off her job at 5 o'clock, she won't feel as weighted down. Okay? The other thing that I'm going to tell Jamie, that I'm also going to tell you all, you are the keeper, the maintainer, the moderator of your time. You determine who gets it and who does not. And that is not something that you need to feel guilty about at all, ever. Because you determine what your time is worth. So, because the fear is that I've seen, and y'all can let me know if y'all have ever had this guilt. If I don't respond immediately, if I can't respond immediately, then I might lose the client, or they might not want to do business with me, or whatever. All these things come into play. We feed off those thoughts. The reality is, if you set the precedent that you are going to respond within 5 minutes of receiving a communication, That says to that person that you are always available no matter what. And that's not reality. That is not reality. There are times that I have my phone in my hand and it's my time period to check my text messages, my emails. And for those of us in BPC, we know we check Telegram and respond. It may appear as if to that person at that time, if they just so happen to send a message during my time period, that I'm responding immediately and that I'm just sitting there with my phone in my hand and not working. The reality is that was my allotted time. So as you are coordinating your schedule, and you don't need to give hours to checking emails and hours to responding to text messages. You give yourself 10 to 15 minutes during the front half of your day, 10 to 15 minutes during the back half of your day, and maybe 10 to 15 minutes a couple of hours before it's time for you to lay it down. And you give those responses. Some responses may be, hey, got your message. Let's connect on tomorrow, or give me until ABC date and I'll have an answer for you. Shift on to the next thing. Note in your calendar what you've got to do so that you don't forget. And that's the advice, the coaching that I would give Jamie. When you're answering and responding to these text messages and emails and telegram messages, or whatever else she's using, if she's doing her DMs and Facebook, then it would be Facebook Messenger. Don't create an obligation on yourself to have the answer at that moment. Sometimes all the person needs to know is that you got their message or you have their question, and you will respond by ABC date and time. That's how you keep the communication going. Sometimes people just need to know that you got it and how you're going to proceed. Now, there will be the quick ones that you will be able to respond to, and do that. But if you know that you need some time, tell them you need some time. They'll communicate back with you and say, oops, instead of tomorrow, can you let me know by 5 o'clock? Then you have to say whether that's a yes or a no. Because it's got to be realistic. It's got to be achievable. It's got to be relevant. Always keep in mind, when it appears that a person is trying to be pushy, it's not that they're trying to be pushy in a negative sense. Everybody has their goals. Everybody has their timeline. Everybody has their things that they're trying to achieve. And those things are important to them. You just have to give what's realistic for you, because your goals and your timelines are also important. And somewhere you'll be able to meet in the middle. Okay? Anybody who has ever tried to put on an event knows that there may be people that you want to participate, but schedules don't always work. That's not a bad thing. That's a trust in God thing, because you had something in mind, but God has better. Okay? So we don't get worked up about it. We just understand that everybody on both sides of the coin has very important things that they are wanting to accomplish. One is no less important than the other, but you don't have to dim your light, your purpose, your goals to appease somebody else. And it also can be the truth can be spoken in love. Okay, let me throw that out there. Let me throw that out there to you too. The truth is spoken in love. So during breaks, text messages, and emails, that's going to be 5 days a week. Okay. And then her after 5 o'clock, that's where she's going to decide what her days are going to look like. Now, if you were on the last session, what I've talked about is when you're doing your time blocking, you must include everything that you need to do to make this task happen. That includes drive time. Jamie needs 20 minutes to get home. So she can't book a Zoom call for 5 o'clock or even 5:15. She ain't gonna be home. Even though she gets off of work at 5, you have to include everything. So if she wanted to have a call, her call should start no sooner than 6 o'clock. Why? Because traffic happens. Traffic happens. People are rushing, they are bobbing and weaving, and before you know it, there's an accident or somebody's car has broken down. 6 o'clock would be the earliest for her that she would need to get started. And Jamie says to me, well, Nichica, that doesn't give me a lot of time to get things done on my business. My question to her would be, what do you mean? Because I need to get home and start dinner. Okay, great. So then let's do this. Let me ask you a couple of questions. As a coach, you got to be the king and queen of 20 questions. And for some reason, the system is not doing right for me, which is why I'm not typing all this in. I don't know what's going on. But let's put some notes up in here. Let me see if it'll let me put it here. Jamie needs to cook dinner when she gets home. My question to Jamie is, how does your household like leftovers? Because there are some people, they are not in the leftover fan club. They want new every day. So I'm not going to, if that's her family, I'm not going to suggest to her, well, Jamie, you could make a casserole or you could make a soup that y'all could eat off of for a couple of days so you're not cooking every night. Or when, as part of your planning on Sunday, you can meal prep. It might take you a couple of hours, but you could meal prep. And then that will minimize the amount of cooking time that you have to do when you get home. Which of those options works best for your family? Because you don't want to disrupt home. And Jamie says, well, I actually could do a little bit of both, because I could do a casserole and then that way I wouldn't have to cook but every other day. And then I could do the meal prepping to take care of dinners on the weekends so that my family is taken care of. Great. Absolutely phenomenal. So your assignment, your homework is look at some casserole dishes, some spaghetti, some crock pot meals. Social media is full of them one and done crock pot meals that you all can eat on so that you're not cooking every single day. And even with the crock pot meal, that's see if it's something that can be cooking while you're at work. So the only thing you got to do when you get home is maybe do a side if you wanted to do like a roast or something. So it sounds like a common sense conversation, right? But these are questions we don't always think about because the reaction is, oh, well, wait a minute, pump the brakes. I've got this to do. We're used to throwing problems instead of thinking about it from a solution mindset. And because we first think about the problem, we may discard the goal or give up or not put the time into it that we should because our mindset's not together. Listen, air fryer, my best friend. My best friend. Okay, love my air fryer. Definitely a great suggestion for quick, healthy meals. So Jamie has decided she's going to do a combination, and I'm not telling her. As a coach, my job is not to tell her what to do. My job is to give her options and let her see it from the world that she's living in right now. My job is to give her options to see what sacrifices she's willing to make. And she has to be honest with herself. Because what I've also seen is when folks get in front of their coaches, they don't want to push back and say, oh, I'm not really interested in doing that. Or, oh, can we think about doing it this way? They just say, okay. And in their mind, they're like, oh, I don't know how that's gonna, what that's gonna look like. When you're in front of your coach, have conversation, ask questions, okay? Ask the questions, ask the questions. So Jamie's going to do a combination, and let's say we are meeting on, it's Friday. So she's going to start her meal prep on Sunday, and she's going to do her casseroles and her soups starting Monday. But she's making her meals because she knows what her family needs. Okay. So Jamie, now that we've got dinner worked out, what time does your family normally eat dinner? She says, well, we normally eat around 7:30. Great. So we know that dinner takes place 7:30 p.m. every single day. Dinner. She and her family are sitting down every day, 7:30 p.m. dinner. And so my next question, how long is dinner normally? She says, oh, we're normally done by 8:30. Perfect. 7:30 to 8:30 is dinner. Are you a meticulous person that as soon as dinner is done, you got to load up that dishwasher, you're putting food away? Is that something you do? Is that something the family helps you with? Can you bring them in on this and it be a team effort? Because what I'm not going to do is tell Jamie how to run her house or how her house should run. I'm not a life coach. Okay. There's sharks in those waters. Okay. You can get your you can get your feelings hurt trying to tell somebody how to run their house. So again, I'm asking her questions. And what Jamie says to me is, you know what? Everybody pitches in and they get it done. So I offer a suggestion. Have you had a meeting with your family about the business that you're wanting to do and the help that you need from them in order to support you? You know what Jamie says to me? No, I haven't done that. So, Jamie is now going to have on her calendar when she can have a family meeting. Since today's Friday, I'm asking Jamie, is it possible to have that family meeting tomorrow so that you can, when you do your planning on Sunday, you're starting with a clean slate. You're starting fresh. Jamie says yes. Now, I've also made a point of pointing out to Jamie, just question, how do you handle Mondays? Because we have our BPC call at 7 o'clock on Mondays. So are you just off camera? Um, is it okay for you to be on the meeting on Mondays? And I'm not coming aggressive again because I'm not telling Jamie how to run her house, but I do want to remind her of the importance of the BPC Monday night call. And what Jamie says to me as she chuckles because she knows what I'm doing, she says, I'm on the call. I'm not always on screen, but I am on the call. And I encourage Jamie to come on screen and share her wins because we all know that's how we get down on Mondays. So the next thing on Jamie's calendar is to set a time for her family meeting. Why is this important? Y'all, your family needs to know how you're moving. Your family needs to know what you're wanting to do and what your goals are. Otherwise, they don't know how to support you. They're not going to understand why you're irritated. They're not going to understand why you're feeling overwhelmed. So you need to communicate that if there's anyone in the home other than you. Now if it's just you, baby, you got the you free. You ain't got to talk to nobody but you and God. That's it. And that's kosher. If there are other people in your home, bring them in. And if you have that fear of whether or not they will support you, kill that. Because you're letting your mind have a conversation that never happened. Okay? And that's how fear comes in. That is counterproductive. Have the conversation, tell them what you're wanting to do, and ask them for the areas that they're willing to help you in. And this goes along with the importance of your time, because this is going to allow you to delegate some things. Okay? You may not have a VA yet, but you have some assistants in your home if you would ask. Don't try to keep everything secret. You want to build a calendar that is going to work. You want to build a calendar that is balanced. Now, Jamie also lets me know, because I'm putting this information in. She lets me know that there are certain days that she has maybe, let's say Jamie is a parent and she has certain days that her kids have practice. For you all, it may be a rehearsal that you're doing. I don't know, but there are some consistent things on your schedule in your calendar that happen every single week outside of the BPC Monday night call. If that's you, then make sure you have that on your calendar. It needs to show up where you can visually see it. One of the ways that we disrespect our time is that we try to store everything in our head. Another way that we disrespect our time, which is in essence disrespecting ourselves, is that we won't say, because we don't like, you know, ruffling people's feathers, we won't say, hold on, let me check my calendar. Please know that you have that right to say that. Okay? You again determine how important your time is, how valuable it is. I was on a Zoom call today with Crystal, who is part of the Success Tribe, and we are building something together. And it was so crazy because she said, oh, let me get my paper calendar because I've got my digital calendar and my paper calendar. I about slid all the way out of my seat because that is exactly what I teach. You need a paper calendar and a digital calendar. Why? We always have our phones. But let's say that rare occasion when your phone goes dead, you leave it at home, it's not charging. You still got your paper calendar with you. My paper calendar is with me. I may not take it in, like if I have a chiropractic appointment or an eye doctor appointment, it's in my car. And during my planning time, I'm merging the two. Or if I have some time during the day, I'm merging the two. There is not a time when they don't talk to one another. Communication is huge when it comes to being productive. So I encourage you, stop trying to hold it in your head. Stop giving people a yes without checking your calendar first. I'm gonna tell. I don't think I put this in my book. Oh y'all, I'm up here talking. Let me see what time it is. Okay. One of the things that I learned without anybody really teaching me was how to manage up. And that's training the people around you, whether they are your superiors or not, but you're training them to do what you need them to do. My husband tells me that I have perfected it because everybody that I work for yields. I hope they're not in BPC. But they yield to my calendar and the way that I do things because I start training them at the very beginning, day one. I'm observing, I'm paying attention, and I'm calculating. Okay, that's the productivity part of me. You've got to train people because once you say it a few times, people will expect it. I know you need to check your calendar, so let me know. Let me know as soon as you can. It's okay to say, let me check my calendar, or hold on real quick. I'm going to put you on speaker. Let me look at my calendar. I do that all the time. So if you have not started having both your digital and paper calendar, you need to start it ASAP. Otherwise, you are disrespecting your time and you are devaluing your time because you're putting their stuff ahead of yours. Even if you're, collaborating, working together, whatever, we want to discard that habit. The habit we want to create is checking and respecting the calendar. And even when I'm talking with people about, being a part of conference or working together, I ask them, what does your calendar look like on such and such day? You hear me training them because I want them to check their calendar. I want them to pause and look. They don't even know they're being trained, and I'm doing it. What does your calendar look like on this day? All right. Does that, hopefully all of this is making sense, but for this coming in week, I want you to practice valuing and respecting your time. I want you to take a look at your calendar and see if what you're doing actually aligns with the goals that you've set. And this weekly planner that you're looking at is in the Profits Planner that Coach Taria has created. So she's gonna, as soon as they're ready to be ordered, she's going to let us know. But any screenshots you see me using up here for calendar, weekly planner, the circle of life, all of those things are coming from the Profits Planner. So when you do it, you are going to put in here the time frames. You are going to time block. Okay. This is not a to-do list. I don't do to-do lists. I don't do that. I don't straight trash. I know some productivity people do, but let me tell you real quick why I do not. Okay. This is your planner. You're going to put time frames in this. Time frames. When you have a to-do list, you mark off what you've done and you shift the items that you didn't do to the next day. If they're able to be shifted to the next day, they weren't really that important. They're fluid. And let me I know I can't see y'all's eyes, but I want you to see mine. Okay, let me look into your eyes. You need to time block, scratch the to-do list. Now we all have reminders, but what I do, that's where that digital comes into play, because you can put a reminder in your digital calendar on your phone to remind you to work on something or call somebody back. It will show up on your digital calendar. But let's say because you have your calendar connected in the BPC system, it won't have it blocked out. So someone can still book that time with you, but you'll get an alarm reminding you to do that thing. And that was something that I actually just figured out on my phone like a couple of months ago, because there were things that were reminders for me, but I didn't want it to interfere with somebody booking that time. So when you go into your phone and you start doing your calendar, there should be a reminder or a note option. And you can still set an alarm for that. And it won't deter anybody from booking with you a discovery call, strategy session, or whatever, the BPC system. So you'll still have that time free to do money making business. Okay? But kill the list, because if it's fluid, it's honestly not that important. And you say, well, what do you mean? Let me give you an example. I may have on my calendar, go to the grocery store, because in my mind, I'm initially thinking, okay, let me just go to the grocery store on Tuesday. Okay. But I've not looked at my calendar to see where I will be at certain hours of the day to even see if it's feasible. Is the grocery store en route? Is it where I can get to it in a reasonable amount of time based on what I have going on for that day? So then I'll move it over to the next day and keep moving it until I actually go to the grocery store. Because while the grocery store is helping me get food into my home, guess what else I can also do? I can go through the drive-through. Hello. I can also use Instacart. Hello, hello. Uber, and have groceries delivered if that's in your budget. Can we block out time on the BBC calendar and have it alert us? Now, great question, Alfred. I have never tried to do that. I have blocked out time on the BBC calendar. If someone was having problems, because for whatever reason, sometimes depending on I guess what type of firewall or whatever a person has set up, when they click on the link, it won't take them to my calendar. So I have made the appointment for them. But what I would see, which I mean, I can try it once we get off. But we can also pose that question to Amna and have her include that in her tech call, where she can walk through it and literally show how to do it. And if someone can't make the tech call, you can watch the replay. So I think that would be a great question to present to Amna and have her show us, if it is possible, exactly how to do it versus trying to figure it out. So definitely go into the Telegram under the training and questions and tag Amna there, or send her an email. That is a great question. That is one aspect of the BPC calendar that I have not tried to use. On my phone, yes. BPC calendar, I don't know. Great question. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. So the to-do list, and what happens is, and I've seen this happen with my husband. It took him the longest time to get rid of to-do lists, and he couldn't understand why he was always so stressed. He would get 4 or 5 things done, and then he would shift the rest to the next day on top of what he'd already planned. He'd get 2 or 3 items done. Shit. So what happens is, by the time you get to the end of the week, that list is so long, it's not even feasible to get it done. It's just not. So when you're building your calendar and you're planning and you're looking at your day, look at the theme for the day. What are your non-negotiables? And we can talk about that again in our next session. But you should have 2 to 3 non-negotiables. If you're working a 9 to 5, 2 non-negotiables that you're going to get done, no matter who, what, where, when, or why. If you're full-time in this thing, you should have at least 3. And that's 3 personal, 3 business, 1 to 2 personal, 1 to 2 business if you're working a 9 to 5. And your strategies for the day, the goals for the day, the tasks for the day need to be in alignment. Okay? They need to be in alignment. One thing that they teach you in sales, when you had to go door to door, you kept all your appointments for one city on one particular day. You weren't doing this. It's not productive. You're spending more time driving than you are actually making money. You have to think the same way about your calendar. Let it flow. As they say, make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's what you have to do with your calendar every single day. And that was something that I learned. And I'm going to tell you, in my book, the Cut the BS book, which the BS stands for bogus strategies, I go through what I teach. It is an abbreviated version, but it's all because obviously I can't customize it without knowing your situation, right? And if you want customized strategy, my website is right at the top, mindingmybusiness.vip. We can book a call. and vet one another to see if we are a good fit. You can also get my book, which is on my website. And it works whether you are full-time entrepreneur or not. The strategies work all day, every single day. And then I'm also going to say, before we get ready to close out, keep your eyes open for emails from Coach Taria, and she'll probably put it in the Telegram chat as well for when the new Profits Planner is ready. I know she told me that they are at the printer. And y'all, I'm blinking my eye because my contact is sliding down. That's why I don't have my glasses on, because my contacts are in. The books are at the printer. That's what she told me right before July 11th. So it's just a matter of the printer getting them ready and then shipping them to her so that she can ship them out to us. But pay attention for the order form, the way to purchase them that's going to be coming in an email blast, and get your Profits Planner. They look different. They look different from what we had before. The red, blue, and black books that we had before, they don't look like that. Do not look like that. Okay? And also keep in mind that the planner is a 90-day planner. So it's a quarterly planner. So how many planners are you going to need to get through the year? Four. Follow. Okay? And it's better to, if you can, because it has to be realistic, it's better to order the 4 if you can and pay shipping one time. Okay? Yep, calendar. Yes. Hello, Miss Wanda. And you are on my calendar so I can get on your podcast. I have not forgotten. I just had to get some other things off my plate. 4 planners. Now I've seen a little bit of it, but I've not actually held it in my hand, so I don't know how thick. And I know she's added some additional things into it based on feedback that she's gotten from the first ones. So Coach Taria is always giving and trying to make things easy. So just be on the lookout for that. And again, go to mindingmybusiness.vip. Get your copy of my book. I ship them out personally, so they all come signed. And if you want to have your free strategy session, the first one is free. And I'm going to have to quote it like Bruce say. After that, you pay. Hear me what I say. The first one is free. And then after that, we're going to have an exchange. All right. Are there any other questions? Anything I can answer, even if it takes us beyond our 2:00. I don't want you to go into your week without things answered, because your question could very well be somebody else's question. Any questions about what I've gone over? Let me go back to my, I don't know what any of those mean. All right, I don't see anything in the chat. Let me check YouTube real quick, make sure nothing's coming through there. All right, y'all, have a fantabulous rest of the day and the weekend, and I will see y'all next time. Same bat channel, same bat station. Y'all take care.